A big reason as to why many people fail when it comes to achieving their fitness goals is due to the mindset. A lot of people have an all or nothing mindset, which is basically black and white thinking. For example purposes, right? Let's say you've got a guy, and for the majority of his life, this guy hasn't paid much attention to what he's eating, and from an exercise perspective, doesn't really do much. And for whatever reason, he decides that he wants to change his situation. So what he does is he goes on crash diets and he starts exercising excessively. So basically, he's gone from one extreme to the other. And initially, he sees results. But eventually, what tends to happen is that he burns out because basically he's doing too much and he goes back to the way that he was previously living. And the cycle continues. Come January the following year, he starts setting New Year's resolutions and he does the same thing that he did previously. So he goes on crash diets, exercises excessively, initially sees results, and then burns out. Here's the key, the real key to weight loss and fat loss. It's small, gradual changes over time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And when it comes to achieving most fitness goals, it's consistency that wins, not perfection. So let's talk about the things in this video that actually work. The analogy that I like to use that perfectly describes this is a child learning to walk. You know yourself that when a child is born, they can't walk. They have to go through stages. They have to learn how to crawl before they can walk. And often, when they are learning to walk, they fall many times. The point I'm getting at here is that the changes are gradual. It takes time. And this is often the approach that works when it comes to making changes in your life that actually stick. So let's say, for example purposes, right, you've got a guy who's overweight and for all of his life, he's practically consumed junk food. For him to completely change his eating habits in a short period of time, it would be extremely difficult. But what he can do is make small, gradual changes over time. What he can do, for example purposes, is eliminate soda, eliminate soft drinks, and consume water instead. So nothing else changes. He continues eating the same food, but rather than consuming soda and soft drinks, he's now consuming water. And if he's able to do this for a week, he then moves on to stage two, which is then consuming a high protein breakfast. So do you see where this is going? It's small, gradual changes over time. And the reason why this tends to work is because it generates small wins. And small wins builds confidence. If you go on social media, there are plenty of people selling us fad diets. We've got no carb diets, we've got no fat diets, we've got low fat diets, low carb diets. The list could go on. I think at this moment in time, the only food group that has yet to be demonized is protein. But here's the thing, protein, fats, and carbs are all macronutrients. And what that basically means is that in order for your body to function at its best, is that it needs all three of those food groups. This is why I'm not a fan of fad diets. You need all three. The analogy that I like to use is that your body is kind of like a car. And for the car to move, for your body to move, it needs the right fuel. And this is where whole foods come in. Because unlike junk foods, whole foods actually nourish the body. Whole foods feed the body. Junk foods are highly palatable and high calorie. They're low in nutritional value. And this isn't me saying never consume junk food, because I'll be talking about this later in the video. There needs to be balance. But what you'll tend to find with people that are able to keep the weight off is that their diets tend to be predominantly a whole food diet, and they tend to consume protein, enough protein, because protein fills you up. I will always promote strength training because, from a body composition perspective, it's what gives people the best results. Number one, you build muscle, and number two is that it increases your resting metabolic rate, which basically means that you are burning more calories throughout the day, even when you're not exercising. And this is what most people want. But it's also important to note that the best form of exercise is actually the one that you enjoy doing. Because if you enjoy doing it, you're far more likely to stick with it in the long run. So let's say, for example purposes, right, you've got a guy who really enjoys playing badminton. He doesn't even have to motivate himself to do it. He just does it because he enjoys it. Well, that guy should probably stick to badminton. And let's say this guy has been strength training for a while because he knows the benefits of strength training, but even after doing it for a long period of time, he still doesn't find enjoyment in doing it. Then he probably shouldn't strength train. He probably should stick to badminton instead. A very, very good question to ask yourself before you get on any program is, can you see yourself doing this for at least 6 months, minimum 6 months? It's not a 30-day challenge. It's not a 60-day challenge. It's minimum 6 months. Because if you can't, then that program is probably not right for you. I always say that fitness is supposed to make your life better. It's not supposed to put you in a cage, yet it does for many, many people. For example purposes, I've heard of bodybuilders waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning to consume a protein shake just so they can get the macros in. I've also heard stories of people going to weddings and taking Tupperware with them with rice, broccoli, and chicken so they can get the macros in. Basically, they don't want to consume the food that is on offer there. In my personal opinion, this approach is just too extreme, and you don't need to live this way to attain your results. Balance is super, super important. And when it comes to a workout program, you want to make sure that it caters to your life. It should never take over your life. And this is one of the reasons why I'm a massive fan of full body workouts, because full body workouts only require you to be in the gym up to 3 days a week. And you can get very, very good results by doing 3 full body workouts a week. Obviously, this is providing that you're managing your sleep, your nutrition, your stress levels, but you get the idea. Fitness is supposed to make your life better. It's not supposed to put you in a cage. And when it comes to nutrition, the same thing applies. It is okay to eat junk food every now and again. You don't need to be a perfectionist. Remember, consistency is what wins the game, not perfection. And the rule that I like to follow is the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time, I consume whole foods, nutrient dense whole foods. 20% of the time, I can be flexible. I can eat whatever the hell I want. Remember, balance is key. And also, having a life is key as well.